So this is the new student advising session for first-year pre-BSE UW students preparing to enter the bioresource science and engineering major. My name is Sandra Maddox. I'm an academic advisor in the School of Environmental and Forest Sciences. We are responsible here in CEFS for the ESRM and BSE majors, as well as pre-BSE students. This presentation is for all incoming students coded as pre-BSE who want to become bioresource science and engineering majors, or any other current UW student or incoming student who is interested in becoming a bioresource science and engineering major, or just wants to learn more about the major. So my agenda for this presentation, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the pre-BSE major, focus on autumn quarter and future quarter registration for pre-BSE students. I'm going to touch on sending records of your college level credits, discuss how you need to, how to get admitted to the BSE major, and how we communicate with pre-BSE students. And I conclude with some frequently asked questions about the major and final questions and slide posting. So the recording of this recording and these slides are available at this URL below here if you need your own copy and have gotten this in some other fashion. So the BSE major, very, very broadly, the students are applying chemical science and engineering concepts to manufacturing sustainable products and developing sustainable processes, fuels, chemicals from bioresources. Sustainable is the focus. We are all about, you're going to learn and focus on products that are made of resources that are sustainable in some fashion or other. There's a variety of sustainable resources are studied in the major. This major provides training in chemical and physical sciences and chemical engineering as applied to manufacturing products, fuels, and chemicals from bioresources. It emphasizes the application of mathematics, chemistry, and engineering to paper and other bioresource-based industries. BSE program focuses on the development of process engineers who optimize the manufacture of value-added products from sustainable natural resources in particular. And if you want more information about the major, there is plenty at the homepage of the BSE major, which is on our website at this URL you can see here. So this is the section where I'm going to talk about what to register for autumn quarter of your first year and the things that you want to be focusing on in your first year in general. So this is a snapshot of the four-year plan for the BSE program. BSE is you're going to start out studying fundamental calculus and general chemistry in your first year. Start with physics. You'll complete physics in second year. Take thermodynamics, organic chemistry, and some more math in sophomore year. And then if you're a current UW student, you will also be taking BSE 210 Bioproduct Sustainability in the autumn quarter of your sophomore year. That class is open to all students. So it's really important that you complete these requirements, particularly the ones in the first year, because those are all required for application. Most students are going to be ready to apply by winter quarter of their sophomore year. Once you apply, you will want to have all of these first year classes that are highlighted in some manner. You want to have all those plus these other classes completed before you start the BSE core curriculum in junior year. So in autumn quarter, again, you want to start with the first quarter calculus. Assuming that you do not have AP credit from high school for calculus, you do want to take pre-calculus instead, only if you did not complete pre-calculus in high school or do not place into calculus but via the math self-placement test. It's really important if you really do need to take pre-calculus to start with that, even though it will put you a little behind, as it were, but the fact is you need to understand mathematics and chemistry both very, very well in this major. And so if you need to take another, study of the fundamentals here, please do so. Then for general chemistry, you want to start off with Chem 142. Unless the Chem placement test indicates you will take Chem 110, which is the preparation class, if it's needed to prepare for 142. And again, while the prep class is not scheduled for autumn quarter, if you need to take it, it's really essential that you do because you need to have a strong grasp of the fundamentals in order to be successful as an engineer and an engineer in this major. And then English composition for 5 credits. And if you want to register for a FIG that includes some or all of these classes or none of these classes, you can get a standalone FIG. That's also a great idea. And as mentioned, you will need to take a few placement tests beforehand. These are tests I know that the preparation info for your orientation encourages you to do. But just to point out that you do need to take the chemistry placement test in order to enroll in any chemistry course. And you need to take the math placement test if you want to take the math classes, or at least it's certainly strongly encouraged. So I would take both of those so you can get a good sense of where your skills currently place you. So I'm just discuss some commonly needed alternatives for scheduling. So if you received credit for one or more calculus classes while in high school via AP or Running Start, or it is generally the best idea to register for the next calculus class in the course sequence. For example, if you had Math 124 credit, register for Math 125. If you receive credit for one or more chem courses in high school, you should register for the next chem course in the sequence. So if you have Chem 142 credit, register for 152 and so forth. And then if you're looking for additional backup courses, you would just go to a copy of the planning sheet, that table that was back a couple of slides. That is available as a standalone PDF planning sheet at this URL here to find additional classes to consider enrolling in. You want to note particularly any general education requirements that you may need to fulfill, because those are good balances for any science and math classes you're doing. Now, one reason, so I get questioned commonly with retaking classes, is that if you got credit for, let's say, Math 124 in high school, but maybe it was a year or two ago and you've forgotten it, or it was a real struggle for you, even if you did well on the exam and you're feeling really uncomfortable about proceeding further. If you do have discomfort there, it is certainly okay to repeat the course content if you would like, but you don't have to if you don't want to by any means. So in case you missed it during your freshman orientation, I want to cover a little bit of information about sending records of your college level credits. So no one can advise you correctly. None of us advisors on campus can advise you correctly if you have missing college credits that should be in your UW student record. And there are a couple of ways to check to see if the UW has all your credits. And if somehow they're missing and you're looking at this video prior to when you go to your orientation appointment to register, please just bring a copy of your unofficial transcript or a copy of your test scores on hand for your advisor meeting. And if you're wondering what those scores are going to count as when they're actually processed by the University of Washington, all of that info about where to send the scores and how to send the scores and what credit you will receive are all in these particular web pages here for both AP, for IB scores, and for A and AS level test scores as well. And if you have credit from community colleges and others that you completed while you were in high school, please do send your final university transcripts. There is this URL will direct you how to do it. If you want to see what credits you will receive with those, and if the credits are from Washington community colleges, then you can check in the equivalency guide to find out that information. But if it's from schools out of state or from four-year schools in Washington State or elsewhere, you will need to wait until the Office of Admissions evaluates those credits. Okay, so next I'm going to cover admission to the BSE major. So, you know, you're a pre-BSE student, but obviously that's not the end goal. You want to actually get into the department. In this section, we'll talk about how to do that. So admission is thoroughly broken down at this URL on this page on our website in our admission section. It lists all of the admission requirements and what classes must be completed before you apply, and then what classes that you should have completed prior to junior year. The application, the courses that you need to have completed before you apply are critical, so, because you will not be considered without those completed. If you follow the sample four-year plan that we've been talking about in previous slides, you will complete all the admission enrollment requirements plus all the other courses normally completed in your first 2 years of studies. BSE admits students in 2 different quarters. So we admit students in spring quarter of sophomore year or to start in autumn of junior year. The application deadlines are January 15th for spring quarter and April 5th for autumn quarter. So how competitive is admission to BSE? We are not at all competitive. I want to be sure that you're aware that we're a very welcoming major. And if you have met the minimum admission requirements, which are a 2.5 or greater overall GPA and a 2.0 grade in each admission requirement, please plan on applying if you're interested. And if there are any student groups that you can join, yes, you'll want to join TAPI, which is the main BSE student group. They have their links to getting on their mailing list at this URL here. TAPI is a student branch of the National Association for the Bioresources field. TAPI hosts a variety of activities and events and caters to all material related, environmental related engineering majors on this campus. I definitely would love to have you join before you're in the department and love new members. And then also I did want to mention very briefly, so if you, in terms of where you go to for the application to BSE, that information is all on in the admissions section on the CEF's website back when I was mentioning where the additional admissions information is. So next we'll cover some, so the communication tools both for BSE and pre-BSE students and where key information is on our website. My school communicates to undergraduate students primarily via email, and as pre-BSE students, you will be subscribed to the pre-BSE email list and will be sent periodic information you may find relevant, such as academic, social event, and internship information. Additional information will be sent to you once you become a major. You'll definitely get more info from us as a major. We post a lot of what we send over email and a lot of things that we don't send on email at all to our student blog. Our student blog is located here, and here's where you'll find a variety of information about upcoming courses, study abroad opportunities, scholarships, and so forth. Now, to make an advising appointment, I would certainly encourage you to make an appointment with SEPS Advising at some point this year if you're a pre-BSE student, just to make sure you're preparing and are on track to join our major. The information is in the undergraduate advising section of our website at this URL listed. BSE academic requirements are on their own page on the SEPS website. And there's some BSE major planning tools under academic planning resources. And then finally, I want to touch base on a resource that is available from UW Career Center that I find really helpful to share with first year UW students, because a lot of students are very confused about how you match all your interests up with selecting a major and selecting a future career. And there is a wonderful resource that is on the UW Career Center website. It's called Pathway U. This is the direct URL here. When you go to that URL, you will start with, you will see this screen called My Journey. You'll start with doing some self-assessments. Then those self-assessments will lead to some career matches, and you'll be able to research careers of interest and do a lot of other things about figuring out where to go on your career journey. So the assessments are interest, values, workplace preferences, and personality. They're certainly they're very good assessments. I would definitely encourage, there's an opportunity to retake these at any time. And certainly your interests and values and personality and workplace preferences are likely to evolve over the course of being at the University of Washington. So do retake these whenever you feel you need to. But those interest results will lead to, you'll get, it will default to career matches by subject. And so you'll get for each subject area that is available on in the university or in this resource, you'll see which careers in that overall area you have very strong match, good match, fair match, weak match. You can sort this list by overall subject area, or you can actually just look at careers. So you could just get a whole list of careers and all the different subject areas that were strong matches and so forth. But I like doing it by subject first, just because it's very helpful. And don't worry, there are plenty of science and technology resources. This just happens to be my scores from the subject area. So they're a little biased in areas that you might not be interested in. So anyway, so we're at the final slide here. More BSE information is available on the SEPS website. These slides are also posted under the academic planning resources section of the undergraduate page on the SEPS website. We really do look forward to working with you during your time in the program. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day. Take care.